What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and help you guys better understand the price action of Tesla. I'm also going to be highlighting some different price levels you really need to be looking out for to determine if Tesla's most likely going to keep running to the upside or start to drop a little bit. And I'm also going to give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow to help you guys better understand what's going on. I'm also going to talk about the options chain, what's going on with the news involving the Tesla stock splits, and what Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend Elon Musk has been tweeting about that makes me very, very excited for the future of this company. Now, before I break any tweets down, before I talk about what's going on with the share price and technical analysis, I do have to mention a couple of things first. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please do not take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, but it's the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you do sign up for Webull and deposit any amount of money, you get to choose how much money you deposit, whether it's $1 or $100. You get to choose. You are guaranteed 5 free stocks for doing that. Each stock could be worth up to $2,000. Once again, that's free money. When I signed up, I got a free Apple share and also some free Neo shares. So if you want this chance, please check out the offer down below. I use Webull for charting and other great things. It's a great platform, so please check that out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, we can see some very interesting price action. I told you guys in my previous video that I did see a green day for today. My sentiment did change. I told you guys that I did see us kind of treating the $1,000 level as, I'm sorry, the $1,099 level or to $1,100 level as resistance, right? Way up here. And what I told you guys is I saw us kind of breaking past it here and there. And I thought that towards the very end, we'd drop a little bit below it. Then we'd run and actually close a little bit above 1,100. We ended up, I was very close, but we ended up closing just below it, right? I was off by a few dollars. We were very close. We did very well though. And we are looking very strong because today is like a typical consolidation day. And despite that, we just held up pretty darn well today. I'm very impressed. So there's some very important key takeaways you got to be paying attention to as a Tesla investor. Now, the market was green. The Nasdaq was up 1.84%. The SPY was also green, up 1.24%. Things are looking pretty strong right now. The fear and greed index, let me close that. The fear and greed index is pretty neutral, maybe a little bit more on the greedy side. So things are improving. Now, I did see this trending on Twitter right over here. You could see that there are some, there's a potential for Russia to start cutting back on military operations, apparently. And we're seeing some more peace talks. So that situation appears to be improving, but it's not 100% confirmed yet. So right now we're seeing a very, very good shift in the market. Things are looking a lot more bullish. I'm not saying this is going to last forever, but as of right now, for the short term, it's looking very, very good. Now that's a good sign for Tesla. And I want to talk about this right here. So I'm going to bring up the 2-hour candles, and you guys could actually notice something very interesting. So the first thing I want to talk about are these exponential moving averages. So if you look carefully at them, right, we're seeing this big spread right here. We're seeing this big run that keeps on perpetuating, and we have these patterns. So do you guys see this yellow line right here? This is the 13 EMA. And what's interesting about it is since we started running up, Tesla has been kind of like above it. We actually touched it one time, and this is just a key indicator of how we end up moving. If you ever see Tesla drop below this during this run-up phase, that's an indicator that we may start dropping a little bit dramatically, maybe not like super hard, but that's going to be a bearish indicator. We have not seen that yet. And now look at this cycle. Okay, we run up hard, and then we consolidate for, I don't know, about a day, but we still close green. Then we run up again. Then we consolidate. This was like 2 days of consolidation. And we ended up touching the 13 EMA, treating it as support. And then we bounced off of that. And now what happened was we had another big run for about a day and a half. And then we reached the consolidation phase. So I want you guys to pay very close attention to the 13 EMA. Do we bounce off of it going into tomorrow? Do we drop below it? That's something you got to be paying attention to. Now, I'm also going to give you guys my prediction. But before I do that, let's just talk about these price levels. So if we look at the 1-day chart, right, we have resistance at 1,115. That's like a range. It's not going to be, perfect, but it's around 1,115. So when I bring up the 2-hour candles, this is what you got to look out for. If we don't just break 1,115. We have to soar past it a little bit, end up dropping, but then we have to start holding above it pretty strongly. That's going to be a very bullish indicator, and we're probably going to keep going to 1,150. Now, if that does not happen and we start dropping, we have this red line right here. I drew this red line. This is the $1,071 range. That's where our very strong support is as of right now. We need this to hold. If we don't hold this too well, if we end up dropping below it, that would be a bearish indicator, and that's an indicator that we could start kind of dropping a little bit more to the $1,050 to $1,040 level. We may end up dropping to that range. So these are the two big lines to be looking out for. Once again, 1115. If we break past that, if we hold around that, that's going to be good. If we drop below 1070, that would be a bearish indicator. So the two important things. Now, what do I think is going to happen? Well, right now we're in this consolidation phase. We're starting to consolidate. And the thing is, and this is something interesting about Tesla, it's very tricky to predict uh, this from a technical basis because we're running based off a squeeze. And I feel like I didn't specify what type of squeeze. There's some short squeeze potential that played a role because the short interest dropped like 2%, which you might think is small, but it definitely plays a big role for a $1 trillion company. It's also a gamma squeeze, right? A gamma squeeze is playing a big role with FOMO. All of these things are playing their roles because look at the options chain. We're currently at 66,000 calls in the money. Now, this is very good. And it's good because of the fact that, well, it's good, but it's not that great because there are 125,000 out of the money, but still is pretty good. Now, this is very good because there's going to be potential delta hedging if we manage to close in this range. So the market makers, the people in between the brokers and you and I, they have to hedge their position to mitigate their risk. And they do this by buying lots of Tesla shares. They're going to buy millions of them, which could push the share price up if we close with a ton of calls in the money. So what I'm looking out for, and we did see this happen before, that did help us to push to the upside. We want to see a good close on Friday to really push that gamma, to really, really, really push us to very high levels when we have the really good Texas Gigafactory opening. And where I see this going into tomorrow is this. I think we're going to see something very similar. Now, we were trading above 1,100 a couple of times. The resistance is pretty strong, but I predict we're going to actually break past it. I think we're still looking pretty strong. I think it's less likely for us to actually dip all the way back down to 1,070s and just keep dropping after that. I really don't see that. I think we're just going to keep going. I think we're going to keep running and running, and I think we're going to be testing the $1,115 level very, very soon. I also think that we're going to break past it relatively soon. Then we're going to drop and start treating it as support. Now, I don't know if we're going to close above it. That's the big difference. We probably will, but I'm going to estimate that it's going to be very close, and I see us closing somewhere within this range around, I'd say, the 1,110 to $1,115 range, somewhere around there. I think it's going to be very close, but I am anticipating a bit of a green day going into tomorrow. I do think we have some gamma left. And once again, like I told you guys earlier, my predictions are not always going to be perfect. That's just what I think is going to play out. But you also need to look out for these indicators to get a better understanding going into tomorrow's trading day. Now, remember, 1,115 is the level we want to beat. If we drop below 1,070, that's where we could drop from. Now, I'm going to use just a couple more technical indicators before I talk about the news and some very awesome things coming out. Right now, I did see one slight flip from the MACD and the 9-day moving average right over here, but then we continue to move to the upside. So it's looking pretty good. That's normal for consolidation. We have not gotten that really, really major drop yet, and it's looking pretty strong. RSI is at 78.43. Once again, looking very healthy. Things are looking pretty darn good. The ADX is continuing to go up, and we did not see that crossover between the positive and negative lines for the DMI. So once again, it's looking pretty consistent right now. It looks more probable that we're going to continue running up, and that's why I am a little bit more bullish going into tomorrow. And I do think we're going to have a bit of a green day, and that is the way I'm seeing this chart. Now, here is the big news. Right now, we have the news about the potential for a Tesla stock split, and that's going to be a massive position of strength according to Dan Ives. Now, he's a very, very credible person. He is the Wedbush Securities managing director, and he stated that right now Tesla is just killing it. He thinks it's going to be a very massive position of strength for them, and it's really going to improve their fundamentals dramatically. So he sees this as a very good move, and we're seeing very, very good sentiment coming from this. And I'm very excited if they actually do end up doing this soon. Now, we don't have a confirmed date yet. We just know that they're very interesting. They're very interested, and they're working with the SEC right now to pass this. That's going to be massive. They also want to pass a dividend for investors. They're looking into that too. So that's, in my opinion, is extremely bullish news. I cannot wait for what on earth the future holds. Now, we also have the big opening of the Texas Gigafactory. That's also going to be massive. That's the reason why I'm actually more bullish than bearish for this week. I think that we're going to see lots of strength really play out, and it's looking pretty darn good. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Elon Musk, the legendary Elon Musk. He tweeted this just a couple of hours ago. He stated that the full self-driving beta should be available in Europe for LHD this summer, RHD a few months later. These dates depend on regulatory approval, but once again, we're seeing more and more and more of their, openness to other continents. We're seeing them really expand and put themselves out there in Europe, and that in turn is going to improve their sales, it's going to improve their marketing, and it's really going to improve their revenue going forward. So it's very bullish news for the long term because they are improving their brand, they're improving their marketing. Even if they're not paying for major levels of advertising, they're doing very well, they're going global, and that to me makes me very, very bullish going forward. So very bullish news. The full self-driving beta is getting better and better as the technology develops. The share price is going to be amazing. So long term, if you are a long-term investor, as I always say, do not worry from a day-to-day basis. This thing is, I see this thing just soaring for years to come. For the short term, I told you what you really need to be looking out for. But like I said before, I am a little bit more bullish than bearish going into tomorrow, and I do think we're going to have a green day. Anyways, I thank you for listening. Please have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.